for the delay in between the two meetings. I will call this meeting to order at 6:34 as we have a quorum of the board present. If everybody would please stand, remove your hats, and we will say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Deanna, roll call, please.
Angie Schreiber.
Here.
Catherine Solon.
Here.
Abby Maddock.
Here.
Dr. Bardo.
Here.
Bobby Braun.
Here.
Joe Maddock Nelson.
Here.
Kristen Matt Miller. JD Schrader.
Here.
Danny Pyatt.
Here. Letter C, District Mission. I'm going to ask Mrs. Jill Maddock Nelson if you have your, you don't have it in front of you?
No, sorry.
Okay,
Next time.
all right. Somebody have it open in front of you? Angie,
I can't get into my computer.
no, the paper, the District Mission.
Oh, sorry.
You're doing the mission, vision, and motto.
Oh, hold on, I'll pass it over. Okay. The Unified School District of Antigo's mission is driven by purpose, guided by integrity, defined by success. Our vision is build a proud Antigo community. And our motto, don't talk about it, be about it.
Thank you. Item number 2, citizens and delegations. Letter A, we will have our student representative report. I was looking right there because normally she sits right there.
Too old.
I'm doing this right. All right. Is this on?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm on the wrong page. Okay. So, for our high school updates, we have within our clubs that the Student Council is actively planning prom, and we are excited to start selling tickets after spring break. Art Club is set to take a field trip to Green Bay in May to learn and participate about art around the community and at UW Green Bay. German Club hosted World Language Week the week of March 9th, and we had bingo during lunch. Forensics had all of our competitors make it to state. Congratulations to May, Alina, and me. Literary Journal is still accepting submissions at this time, but they will be heading to print soon. The Raise Your Voice Club is hosting a community event around suicide prevention. They had that tonight in the Commons. We had 16 community members registered and several local resources attending. On March 5th, we had 4 students meet with state legislators and senators to talk about youth mental health. NHS is hosting a bake sale fundraiser during lunch to benefit the Humane Society. The musical had its closing night on Saturday. Everybody did a great job, and we are very proud of them. Our yearbook was just set off to print, and we are proud of our students and all the hard work they put into this project. Now for our sports updates. Spring sports are underway, even if winter is still hanging on its side. We are proud of our athletes and the commitment they are already showing. We wish them the best with their upcoming seasons. Softball will be having their opening games this week Friday at Greenheck, starting at 3 p.m. against Wausau East and DC Everest. Golf will be getting started with their practices on March 30th. Baseball practices were kicked off last week for the pitchers and catchers, with general practice this week. Girls' soccer practices are underway as of last week. Track and field will have their opening meet on Thursday, March 26th at Northland Pines. Congratulations to Diego Flores Martinez for signing with Leeds Beckett University to play soccer at the college level in England.
Is he here? Oh, stand up.
Now, for field trips, last week our juniors had the opportunity to tour UW Oshkosh. The tour went well and our students actively engaged throughout. Last week, our seniors took a trip to Greenheck to enjoy the activities available there. We had great participation and all positive feedback. Our students were also complimented by the manager for being respectful during their visit. Our seniors are preparing for their senior trip to Appleton for a Timber Rattlers game on April 15th. Now for general high school updates. During first semester, our students earned 240 college credits. We have several students who have made it to state in both choir and band. This competition will take place in April at UW Stevens Point. Students have completed their ACT and/or pre-ACTs. Our seniors are working hard on preparing for their senior portfolio night that is scheduled for April 8th. Scheduling has been completed with our incoming freshmen. And that is all I have today. Have a great night.
Thank you so much. I just want to give a shout out to all of those college credits that was given, 240 during that first semester. So thank you for all of your hard work that you put in for that. Letter B, recognition. I will turn it over to Mrs. Ojenski.
Okay, first we would like to recognize the Raise Your Voice Club. And after everyone comes forward to receive their certificate, we would like to invite Trinity Schreiber to come to the microphone and share her experience of her time speaking with legislators. The Raise Your Voice Club went and met with our legislators to discuss the ongoing epidemic of youth mental health, the lack of resources, and the need for funding for state and local resources, including funding 988. We were very fortunate that Angie Schreiber could go and help chaperone, and we would like to recognize Ms. Schreiber. Ms. Moore is the sponsor for Raise Your Voice Club. And we have Greta Stowe, Trinity Schreiber, Jacqueline Anderson, and Emmy Gustafson. Please come forward to receive your certificates. We have And girls, before you go, we have to get a photo op.
Yeah, we can do that.
Out in the hall.
Congratulations, ladies.
Hello, my name is Trinity Schreiber, and I am the president of the Antigo Raise Your Voice Club. On March 5th, we went to the Youth Advocacy Day in Madison, and we told this story. Last year, our school held an assembly on sextortion. 50+ students told staff and professionals that they personally had experienced sextortion after the assembly. One student, I'll call him Chad, was threatened within 30 minutes of the very first message he had received. He had attended the assembly and knew what it was like to speak up, knew how to speak up to parents and professionals. They spoke up and made a report back to police, who took the info down but did not do anything else. Because of the school holding the assembly on sextortion, Chad knew what it was, and this more than likely prevented Chad, who was 17 years old, from committing suicide. To this day, Chad has graduated and is now doing well and has a good paying job. Without the assembly, Chad may have never gotten the help he needed. And unlike Chad, some students were unable to get the help. So we would like to have more assemblies like this. And the Antigo district alone has had 50 students hospitalized this school year alone that we know of, with 17 students being from the high school, 10 students being in 5th grade, and 23 students being 6th through 8th grade. That's it.
Thank you, Trinity. Okay, up next, we would like to recognize Diego Flores Martinez. We are thrilled to announce that Diego Flores Martinez will be advancing his soccer career at the I2I International Soccer Academy in Leeds, England. Diego plans to study cybersecurity at Leeds Beckett University while continuing to play at the academy. What an exciting next step. Please come forward, Diego, and get your certificate and photo op. Thanks, Diego. Up next, we would like to recognize Ms. Tammy Molina and the band members. And also, Ms. Molina, we would encourage you to say a few words about your experience in Madison. Our 7th and 8th grade students were invited to attend an event in Madison on March 12th. 3 of the band members selected received first place ratings at the Wisconsin School Music Association District Solo and Ensemble Contest on Saturday, March 7th. These students spent many hours practicing, preparing, and challenging themselves musically. Their hard work truly paid off, and they represented our school very well. We are very proud of your accomplishments and dedication. Thank you for sharing your talents and for showing what it means to work hard and strive for excellence. Please come forward, Ayla Noskoviak, Liliana Greasy, and Caitlin Kolpak, and Miss Molina.
One student is ill today. I'm sorry, so Liliana is not in school today. Oh, that's awesome. We missed you.
I missed
I wanted you to do on Wisconsin.
Oh.
So we have 2 things going here. We have a WSMA District Solo and Ensemble Contest. We had 3 students who went and received gold first place ratings. That was on Saturday, I want to say March 7th. Okay, so 3 young ladies went, did a great job, held it together, played in front of a judge with a pianist. Interesting experience, and they brought home the gold. So we have 1 student who's absent today, but can you give them one more hand out All right. Oh, I guess we're doing photo ops, and then we'll talk a little bit about Madison real quick, because they went there too. Thank you. Well, you can stay here, because they went to Madison too. All right. It was a whirlwind couple of weeks in the middle school band department. Then on March 12th, a Thursday, we went down on a school day. We were invited in honor of Music in Our Schools Month in March to play in the rotunda at the state capitol. We've done this a few times before, but this was the best trip yet. It ran like clockwork. So there were wonderful things that happened musically, as always with our groups. But I was so proud of my students as I followed them through the Capitol on their tour, in the lunchroom, on the buses. They purported themselves as young ladies and gentlemen. Every time I turned around, we couldn't get to anybody being naughty. And we had some naughty people there, not our Antigo kids. And the staff members that were there commented on that, how wonderfully behaved they were, how polite. And they were a joy to have down in Madison. So I remember turning around on the bus and watching them. Instead of being on phone, they brought Uno card games. All right, one kid brought a Monopoly game, and they were playing games and talking to each other and drawing pictures and having a great time without the cell phone. So we had a great time down there, musically awesome and very well behaved. I think they did a great job, and they showed us proud for the Unified School District of Antigo. So, I want to say thank you.
Do we have, Miss Molina, do we have 7th and 8th grade band members present?
Yes, you're in seventh.
Could you please stand if you are in the 7th or 8th grade band at the middle school, please? And everyone give them a round of applause. Thank you. Up next, we would like to recognize Keegan Olson, a 5th grade student. He is an excellent member of the AMS community. He takes great pride in his academics and consistently works hard to excel in his classes. He's an exemplary student who demonstrates positive behavior each day. He is kind and respectful to both staff and fellow students and is truly a joy to have at AMS. We are very proud of Keegan. Keegan, please come forward. Next, we would like to recognize Pam McCauley, Dustine Hollup, Sherry Olson, Tanya Harden, and Barb Brown. A big thank you to the wonderful ladies who have helped plan and organize our family recess events for our students and families this school year. Each person who has shown dedication to creating welcoming opportunities for families to connect with our school community is truly appreciated. Through our monthly Family Advisory Network meetings, families can see student work on display and spend time together with fun activities like snacks, open gym, arts and crafts, and the always popular Gaga Ball. This past month's bingo night was another great success. Our last event will be on Thursday, April 9th, where our 8th grade students will have the opportunity to showcase their capstone slideshow. Mr. Mock and Ms. McCann, thank you for helping create meaningful experiences that bring our school community together. Thank you. Please come forward.
I have to get in front of it. Thank you.
And just a friendly reminder, those of you that showed up for board recognition, if you would like to leave, you may do so at this time. Thank you all for coming.
Can't believe you guys don't want to stay.
Letter C is public comment, and we have a few members that are signed up. I want to remind everybody the policy regarding public comment, 0167.3, and public comment shall be made permitted before board takes official action on any issue of substance. Attendees register their intentions to comment in public portion of the meeting. Comments made by the public shall be civil in content and tone, affirming the decorum established for a school board meeting by the school board. Disparaging comments or remarks about school board members, employees, students, positions, or position titles, and/or district citizens will not be permitted. Comments by the public shall be in reference to a specific agenda item. And I know I see a number of people signed up for the pool. And just remember, you want to keep your comments related to the agenda for looking for future possibilities of what we need to do for the future of the pool. Participants must be recognized by the presiding officer. Each statement is made by the participant shall be limited to 5 minutes in duration, which the time will be on the screen behind me. And I don't have a screen in front of me to see, so if I turn my head to look at the time, please forgive me. No participant may speak more than once on the same topic unless all others who wish to speak on the topic have been heard. Participants shall direct all comments to the board and not to staff or other participants. Participants shall address only topics within the legitimate jurisdiction of the board. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer, and no person may address or question the board members individually. And a reminder that the presiding officer may interrupt, warn, or terminate participant's statement when it's too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant, request individual to leave the meeting, request assistance from law enforcement officers, or call for a recess or an adjournment to another time when lack of public decorum interferes with orderly conduct. The portion of this meeting of the public comment is limited to 60 minutes. So I'll ask Deanna to start the time when we begin with the first speaker, and unless extended by a vote of the board. So if we get to 60 minutes with the speakers that are here, we'll pause and take a vote of the board if we want to extend any farther. Reminder to the board members and to the speakers, this is not a conversation between the board and the person speaking at the microphone. The person at the mic will be allotted their 5 minutes to speak, and then we will move to the next person who has been signed up to speak. So, having said that, we will move forward with the first person to sign. And forgive me if I mispronounce a name that's written down here ahead of time. Number 1 is Mary Jo Philbrandt.
I'm back. After you've had the time to listen to everyone, I've heard comments back saying that many things were looked up in the past. And I do believe there's still misinformation out there on how the Aquatic Center program was put together. I think there's many people in the community that want to participate and can share information to you that can allow us to think of ideas for better operation. The city, the county participation, that was a lot of discussion with the school board, and just looking at a time and place in the minutes doesn't tell you the whole story. And I request that you do not take action tonight, but rather sit down with a group of us and really focus on how we can solve this situation. You were told that we are in the process of creating a fund for maintenance now and maintenance in the future. Jake Leiterman met with the gentleman. They kind of went through the whole process on how they could move ahead. And here we're sitting months later where we cannot move ahead. We need to move ahead with these maintenance projects. The swim club put in so much money. That is just all sitting there. We have grants that need to be expended. I want to also indicate that Kelly did not talk about was the Sheldon grant. Every year we get a Sheldon grant, and that's written for operation. There is possibilities of getting more grants. And until we can sit down and have a conversation, I'm talking to you now. We're not conversing. What happened to conversing with people? I'm used to that. I mean, I think I spent my whole career talking to people, meeting with people, and solving solutions. We need to look at that Y contract. $250,000 spent for that Y. And are we getting our bang for our buck? I think there are opportunities to make that aquatic center to continue. And I ask you, sit down with people, the people who put the program together, community members. We care about it. We care about all these people behind us. That's what we're representing. And to take action without talking to us, conversing. What happened to conversing? Collaborating, figuring out how to be partners in this. And again, I ask you to take time to do that, and we're more than willing to participate. I know that the other night, you kind of fired the Antigo Aquatic Center Board, but we still exist. We're still community members. We're still willing to sit down and talk to you, and I ask that you do that. I also think a lot of numbers have been thrown around, and we as an Aquatic Center Board have not received any update on the budget since October. I have asked several times. I guess we'll have to do open records request to see that, because until we can see that, we can't make recommendations. You want recommendations, we need to sit down and look at things. So again, I ask you, I know Dave Bardo had thoughts about getting $1 million all of a sudden, but we're not at that point right now. We have to progressively move forward, and I think we can. We have a large benefactor out there to help us out. Let them communicate with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Jo. Our next speaker is Michelle Zaromsky, and she will be discussing teacher contract. Sure, absolutely. Pass them out.
Just tell me when I can start.
Go ahead, yeah.
Reset.
Oh, wait. Okay. So most of you already know me, but for those who don't, my name is Michelle Zaromsky, and I'm the business education teacher and the YA co-op coordinator at the high school, and I'm here to talk about action item number 5B, consider to approve teacher contract language only. I want to say how difficult this is for me to speak to you, the administration, because I worked with you for a whole year, and I've always advocated for you, and I've always trusted you, and I know that you have done great things for this school. I would never come to you with a problem that I didn't have a solution for. Unfortunately, this year has been very hard for many of us, along with students, and it felt like one thing after another continued to happen, so I felt it was my responsibility to speak up. Even though this may never affect me in the sense that I don't want to leave, but it does affect me because of the new staff that are here, that I've come to feel like they're family, and the staff that I want to come here. The proposed change in this contract language is very disappointing and discouraging. Policies like this do not encourage teachers to stay or attract teachers to come here to work. Instead, they risk creating a situation where people simply stay simply because they cannot afford to leave. This is more of a punishment than a penalty. Unfortunately, this raises questions about whether our calendar ties into this. Previously, I thought, wow, this is pretty great that our calendar allows us to finish in May, but now it looks more like a punishment for staff that may want to leave in June. They may be left with a punishment of $7,500 along with no insurance coverage in June. Sometimes people leave because it's the best for their families, but we are showing them that we just don't care about them. Last year, I was probably one of the first ones to sign my contract because I trusted you. It is on me for not paying attention to the change that you had of, I think it was $4,000 or $5,000 change in liquidated damages. I am curious on how we came to this being brought to the board. I feel that there are so many other things that we could be working on. I understand that a school district must operate like a business in many ways. We also work in a unique environment where relationships, respect, and understanding matters. Staff are not just numbers, we are individuals with personal lives and responsibilities outside of school. One possible alternative would to implement a progression of liquidated damages structure. This is what the majority of school districts do in Wisconsin. For example, June 1st to the 30th, the penalty of $1,000. July 1 through 31st, penalty of $2,000. August 1st through the 15th, penalty of $3,000. Then after that, go ahead, do the $5,000 after August 15th. This would be more responsible structure. Most schools do not exceed the penalty of $3,000. I have added these in my packet of ideas for staff retention. If anyone would like to make an amendment on this item, the information for the 3 school districts are on the back page, which is DC Everest, Wittenberg, Burnhamwood, and Wisconsin Rapids. I have several others if you want them. Staff have experienced several changes this year that have made the workload more difficult. This includes losing compensation for covering classes during prep periods, increasing PLT meetings, professional development days that leave little time to grade or work in the classroom. This is all great things, but we also need to have time. You can't expect teachers just to work at home, which I spend lots of time working at home. We also were asked to sign a revised handbook due March 1st because the verbiage clearly stated that we would get paid for losing our prep in the handbook that we signed in August, but did not receive compensation. As of March 13th, we lost 587 preps that were lost at the high school. I truly believe that there are many positive ways to improve staff retention and make people want to stay here and encourage others to apply here. I am part of the Climate and Culture Committee, which we have our next meeting on April 7th. But have not had a chance to bring up my ideas because there's only been 3 meetings and 2 of them were for creating a survey for staff, which the results have been given to Donovan at this point. These findings would provide valuable insight for staff concern and could guide future decisions. I have given you a packet with ideas of how to retain staff. I have typed up the policy to consider for one of them to be included. I have also discussed with Ms. Lozinski, and she has agreed that we will bring this forward to a committee, so I appreciate that. I want to be someone who proudly advocates for the school district. I want to be able to tell others that this is a great place to work, that will only happen if we start working together and listening to each other. There are amazing people that work here, including my actual family. Also, we should check with school districts that have low turnover and see what's working for them. Sometimes you have a thankless job, and I know that, and you have done so many great things for our district. We need to work together as a team. There will always be people who complain, no matter how great things are, but that is not the majority. I am grateful for the opportunity to serve as a business education teacher and the YA coordinator. I plan to continue to make this program even better. I thank you for trusting me in this role, and I also want to thank you for allowing me to speak tonight.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, our next speaker is Shaylin Domke, and she's going to be speaking about the middle school ag teacher.
Oh, goodness.
You can just hold it if you want to.
I'm not going to sing. Okay, we'll just do that. Fine. No singing. Okay. Good evening. My name is Shaylin Domke, and I am the agriculture teacher and FFA advisor for the Antigo High School. With the 8th grade moving back to the middle school, administration was looking to restructure what is offered at the middle school, specifically for our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders related to the career and technical education, or CTE. I was part of the discussion in creating what will be voted on tonight, a full-time middle school agriculture teacher position. This new position will allow our middle school students an opportunity to be introduced to all areas of the Antigo High School CTE programs, including agriculture, automotive, business, carpentry, graphics, foods, metals, and employability skills. Having this introduction will give students a knowledge base that will further their interests and help them choose the right career path for their future. At the committee meeting, there was a concern raised by a board member about the lack of numbers at the high school in the CTE department. I want to share with you some background information that may help you understand why there is a need for this position being created at the middle school. Since I transferred positions in 2017 to the high school 8 years ago, there have been a total of 7 middle school teachers in the tech ed position, whether full-time or part-time. On top of that, lowering the graduation credit requirements created less required electives. These elective opportunities are mostly made up of the CTE department. Besides that, students are also offered Start College Now courses. For our Antigo High School students, there are many opportunities for them. However, with all of these opportunities, something has to give. Unfortunately, our CTE student numbers are taking a hit, specifically in our advanced classes, junior and senior year levels. Just this semester, I had many students who could not take an agriculture course because their Start College Now course conflicted in the schedule. And some of the courses that conflicted were my NTC dual credit courses that I teach and does not cost the district anything. Yes, our numbers are a concern. This is why this opportunity is so important. So I am asking you, the board, 3 things with this new position: time, patience, and support. Time. For a program to really be successful, we will not see the success of this new position for at least 3 years as we build a new middle school CTE program. Patience. Rome was not built in a day. This too is going to take patience from everyone, that it won't just magically fix our numbers at the high school level. Support. With this new opportunity comes other areas that will need support, like having an intracurricular club, FFA, and an extracurricular club, Skills USA. When the 8th grade moved to the high school in 2018, I was excited for the opportunity to expand my program. Unfortunately, it took 2 years, fall of 2020, for that finally to happen. Last year, the class of 2025 FFA members was the first class in the history of Antigo High School to graduate with 5 years of FFA membership. This was a huge advancement for my program. Unfortunately, the current freshman class of 2029 will be the last of the 5-year membership, but I am hoping not for long. Please vote yes for this opportunity. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Shaylin. Okay, the next person to speak is Elena. Elena, can you say your last name for me? Zock. Thank you. Elena Zock. And she is speaking about the Aquatic Center.
As a part of the Anago girls varsity swim team, I want to point out how vital the Aquatic Center is to our community, both as a whole and in individual lives. As a high school junior who just moved to Anago, I felt lost, scared, and alone. I had no friends and nothing to do except lay in bed and slowly rot away. That all changed the day I joined the varsity swim team. Right away, my coaches and teammates welcomed me with open arms, and I finally felt like I was part of something. I found my place in this community that day. Closing the Aquatic Center takes that purpose away from me and so many other young people of Anago. There are so many young people on both school-based swim teams and the club swim team who are given the same sense of purpose and passion as I am by the Aquatic Center. The club team, for instance, has different age groups, allowing young children to develop a passion for swimming to take with them as they get older. If the Aquatic Center is shut down now, none of those children will have the opportunity to develop their passion for swimming. As they get older and reach high school, this may cause them to feel lost and unmotivated, eventually leading to a decline in their academic and social performance. As a teenager, I know how easy it is to feel like nothing matters when you have nothing to look forward to. Being able to use the Aquatic Center gives people something to look forward to, which, in correlation, gives them a reason to stay organized and motivated for other important things like school. The Clara R. McKenna Aquatic Center is often used by younger people for jobs, entertainment, and extracurricular activities. The rest of the community uses it just as much as I do. During my time on Anago's varsity girls swim team, I always noticed how much the elderly used the pool. Most days at the end of practice, senior citizens would come to the pool once we left to keep themselves in shape in a way they can truly enjoy. Swimming has been scientifically proven to exercise the entire body without impact on joints and internal organs. For elderly people, this is important because they might not be able to stay in shape without pain without using the Aquatic Center. For many people, both young and old, the Aquatic Center could be the only place they can go to swim. A lot of people can't drive further than Anago for a variety of different reasons. It doesn't make sense to take away the only access people have to safely have fun while staying healthy. Because so many people use the Aquatic Center, it acts as a sort of town monument, as it unifies the community more than most places do in Anago. People come to the pool for all sorts of reasons. Some teenagers working as lifeguards and swimming instructors who might need to work there in order to support their families. Others go there to have fun and use the pool to recharge from the stress in their lives. A lot of young people, myself included, use the Aquatic Center for extracurricular activities, where we develop passions to carry into our future and important life skills such as team and character building. The Clara R. McKenna Aquatic Center stands as a monument of unity for the entire community, and it changes lives for the better. The longer it stands, the stronger our community will become. Thank you for your time.
I wish you all could have seen her face while she was presenting. Very great job, thank you. The next person that's going to speak is Paula Royce. And Paula is speaking about the Aquatic Center.
Yes.
Thank you, Paula.
I am back. You all heard my first speech. I want to bring the attention to the school board about a district facility, okay? This district has had a pool in existence for many years. It is a district facility. Prior to the YMCA running it, you, as a school board, hired the director and all the lifeguards to employ the school district. Okay? So being able to say that it is a school district facility is one question that you have to ask. Does the community use it? Absolutely. But it is a school district facility, and that's where you have to look at it. I will now talk about what I have read personally, and I encourage all the board members to do their own research. How does Fund 10 work? Fund 10 pays the cost the district would incur regardless of community use. Routine building maintenance, regular custodial staffing, standard pool operations during school instruction and extracurricular use, repairs and upkeep required for school purposes, utilities during school hours, maintenance of district-owned facilities as part of the normal operations.
What are you reading right now?
This is from the DPI website. If this was not a school district facility, why for the last 22 years have we had to come to the board to approve anything of large numbers to be done at the pool? We just came to you as a board just a short few months ago in December to purchase a scoreboard to put in the school district's building, being paid for by our funds, our donations. If it was not your facility, if it was not the school district's facility, why did I have to come to that meeting and get that approved? Why did the purchase order have to go through central office to purchase that scoreboard to be put in the school district building? I would like you guys to ask those questions. Fund 80. Fund 80 must pay for those actual additional costs created only because the community uses the building. Extra custodial or maintenance hours for community events, additional pool operation hours for community swim programs, weekend or evening staffing required solely for community access, supplies used only for community purpose programs, extra utilities attributed to community programming, set up and tear down for community events. I want you to ask that question in your mind. I want you to read the resources. I want you to make an informed decision. That is your job to represent the school board. This has never been a community facility. It has always been owned and operated by the school district for the use of school and community purposes. I also want you to question Fund 27. Why don't we have funds in Funds 27 to be able to cover maintenance costs? Again, I'll let you guys do the research. And Fund 46. I've worked with special education students. I know that many special education students in this district have written into their IEPs to use the pool for therapy purposes. If this pool closes and it is not a school district facility, you will be rewriting every single IEP that is written with therapy, swim therapy purposes in it, which will include district administrators, families, lots of time. In closing, again, I want you to consider not just the cost of keeping the pool open, but the cost of losing it. We have the power to make informed decisions, one that reflects the full picture and protects something that matters deeply to myself and the community.
Thank you, Paula. Deanna, let the record reflect that Kristen Matt Miller's appearance 7:19. Our next person to speak is Michelle Arlen. Michelle will also be speaking about the Aquatic Center.
Thank you. As a retired special ed teacher, I've been a part of the aquatic board, the swim board for 17 years. I've been a boys varsity swim coach and was a certified USA official as well as a WIAA official. Plus, I've had 3 swimmers of my own come through the program. One of my daughters is a 4-year D2 swimmer athlete who is also a part of a relay record at her college. I know a lot about swim. I have been directly involved in swim, and quite honestly, I'm disgusted to even see what is going on. Kids learn how to swim is of vital importance for all children. I sat here last week and listened to Jake stated that his only concern is about the education for students in our district. Physical education is a state-mandated program, and swimming is a part of our school's curriculum. Also, students have IEP needs that are met through the aquatic therapy, some weekly, some monthly. I don't know anymore because I'm a retired teacher. Are we going to rewrite IEPs so kids fit into our system, which is illegal according to WDPI? Or are we going to do what's right for the students' needs? Maybe we're going to have to bus them to Wittenberg. That's what their IEP states. I also want to let you know that many sports use the pool for cross-training, and the athletic trainer has put students injured in the pool for healing. I too ask that you collaborate with the aquatic board to come up with solutions. There are donors out there willing to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Our next person is Tom Koss, and he's going to be speaking about the foundation around the Aquatic Center. Thank you, Tom.
Again, thank you. Talking about money. I thought I'd give you a little perspective too, because I started a business 30 years ago. Before that, I worked for 9-10 years as a commercial and ag loan officer. I've seen thousands of balance sheets and income statements in my career. Most of the people I've worked with have been successful people, built up big investment portfolios, got their kids through college, did all this. Almost to a family, they had this positive attitude. I grew up in a house with no plumbing, no indoor plumbing, outhouse, second of 8 kids, paid my college except for $500, and I ended up at the top of the income scale in the nation. So I know in all our situations, we have 2 ways to improve our financial position. One is to increase our income, and one is to lower our expenses. We've been talking so much here about lowering expenses. I can't help with the other one, and maybe that's beyond your control, but we do have people here who have been successful. I said that last time. So the foundation would like to schedule a meeting with staff, with board, whoever you deem appropriate, and start laying out the details. How many dollars by when? We're not going to get them immediately, but we've got to have a plan, we've got to have a timeline, and we'll start putting it in place. We've got to increase the income. That's all we can help with. So you've heard from so many people about how important it is. Yes, it is important. I got a chance to meet many people over the years. George and Barbara Bush, my favorites, Colin Powell, Lou Holtz, Peyton Manning. Condoleezza Rice was my favorite. Condoleezza grew up in a home in Mississippi. They were black kids. She told us the only reason that they succeeded was her dad's constant reinforcement and support. And and backing her and telling her, you can do anything, you can go to this school. She went from Secretary of State to running Stanford University, of course, top academic university. And I just remember her standing there talking to us and telling us how it happened. She didn't have any more talent than somebody else, but she had a father who said, so I'm going to act like your dad tonight. I'm going to say, yeah, we can do it. And I happen to know the dollars too, but we've got to first say we can do it. So thank you. We'll help.
Thank you, Tom, AKA Dad. Our last speaker that we have, speaking about the Community Foundation regarding the Aquatic Center, is Maureen Winter.
Hi, my name is Maureen Winter. I have been out of town for the last couple days, and I was shocked when I got my Anago Daily Journal today, and I read that the Aquatic Center was in some dire straits. I'm also on a local community foundation who has supported the Aquatic Center in the past. We met last week. We did not receive an application from the Claire R. McKenna Aquatic Center, and we were all kind of shocked. We were kind of surprised. And I can tell you that there is support out there in the community, but you need to ask. You need to put an application in. And I can tell you when we're reviewing applications, we look for collaborative efforts. We want to make sure that there's other foundations, that there's other people are putting some skin in the game. So I think it's important that you work together. The other thing that was brought to my attention, that the Gridiron Club is looking to build a sports complex. They're asking for funds. But as a foundation member, why would I want to support a project if I'm not seeing there's collaboration between the school, other foundations, the city, the county, etc.? So I just strongly urge you to take a look at other ways of gathering funds and ask, how can we help each other? I've been coming to Anago since 1991. I moved here in 97. And when I first came to Anago back in 91, I was shocked. I'm like, you have no pool here? And they're like, nope. And I'm like, every school has a pool. I was on the swim team. I was a lifeguard. So when Dr. McKenna spearheaded his efforts to create the Aquatic Center, I was all on board. And it has been a great asset. I'm also a therapist, so I see the benefits of the pool. I also have had 2 children who have graduated from here, and they too benefited from the pool. When I was at home with the kids and we needed to wear off some energy during these long winters, we went to the pool. So I strongly urge you to consider collaborating with other foundations, with other entities to make this happen. It's out there, as Tom has said. So again, thank you for your time, and I'm keeping this brief because this is a long time to sit. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you.
Just like the committee meeting, thank you all for your decorum, for the public comment, and now we're going to move into the business part of the meeting. Item number 3, consent agenda. Approval of agenda, minutes, financial reports, and report of district new hires. I will be looking for a motion, please.
I move the board approve the agenda, minutes from the February 16th, 2026 Board of Education meeting, March 9th, 2026 committee meeting minutes, report of district new hires, financial reports for February 2026 and March 2026, consideration of current bills, checks number 9579 to 9629 in the amount of $252,734.69, ACHs number 252-600-710/252601140 in the amount of $581,032.86, and wire transfers in the amount of $17,202.74 for a total of $850,970.29.
What a mouthful, Abby. Thank you. You want to speak to your motion?
Yes, I would.
Thank
I
you.
have a point of inquiry about letter G on the agenda, which is resolution authorization letter of censure. The agenda does not state who or what this censure is about. So for the benefit of the public and the record, would you please state for the room who is the subject of this censure?
The subject of the censure will come out when we get to letter G, resolution authorization, and we have our attorney with us who authorized this letter to come to us because he is the one that found the reason for this censure, not a member of the administration or the member of the board.
Okay. According to Robert's rules, the element of surprise is frowned upon. So having such a vague agenda item that we have to vote on to approve is probably doesn't follow Robert's rules.
I will refer to our corporate counsel for comment.
Your obligations are to produce a publicly noticed agenda. You've done that.
Thank you, Davis.
Okay.
Any other questions or discussion of the motion on the floor?
Yes. I know we're going into closed session tonight, correct?
Yes, sir.
Is the language, public, you need to know my laptop is sitting over there because it was getting fixed for the last week. So I don't have an agenda in front of me. Is the language appropriate for going into closed session with what is there now to deal with the censure in closed session?
I'm looking at our corporate counsel.
My understanding is you're not going into closed session to address the letter of censure.
Not the letter of censure. It's for two other reasons of going into closed session. So that would not fit in the agenda.
Okay, so then my question will become, when we get to that situation, if I make a motion to move it into closed session because the language is appropriate for it? Is it not appropriate for it? That's my question.
It is not appropriate, and it would not be agendized. Therefore, the community has not had 24-hour notice for that to be there.
Okay, thank you.
May I also ask a question?
You may.
Just wondering why or if it's possible for that to fall under item A, under closed session.
Technically, a board member is a public employee of the district. But does
No, they're not.
we're not an employee?
No, we're not. Davis, do you have a comment as to the reason why that it cannot be? And that's the reason, because we're not a public,
Not agendized, and
number one,
board
correct.
members are not employees. You clearly have it agendized to be addressed in open session.
Correct.
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
Are there any other questions?
So could you just move to table it? And we could re-agendize it and closed?
No, it cannot be re-agendized because you've got to give a 24-hour notice.
At a different meeting.
It could be, not tabled, because when you put something on the table, you have to take it up at the end of the meeting. What you can do is postpone to another meeting.
But regardless, whoever this censure is about, even if we could go into closed session, which it does not seem like we can, that person could ask for it to be an open because it's about them, correct?
No. So there is a provision in the open meetings law where an individual is allowed to ask for hearings to be done in open, but that is for the termination of an employee, where the evidentiary hearing would be held in open session, or were to be held in closed, and the employee could ask that it be held in open session.
Are there any other questions of the motion that's on the floor? Hearing no questions of the motion on the floor, your voting device is now open. Please be sure that you have your device. I don't know who we're missing here. Okay, would anyone like to change their vote? All right, the vote is now closed. And the motion carries. Unfortunately, we really need names up here, Nathan.
Yeah, that was supposed to be fixed already, so I don't know why that happened.
I'm yellow.
I'm red.
Oh, how do you know what color?
I looked at the top.
JD, you're
Look at the numbers on the back of your device board.
Number 1 is Dr.
I won.
Pedro, and
I-
number 8 is Abby Maddox. I'm colorblind, I can't see that at all. They all look the same, except yellow.
Nathan, is there a way that this can be fixed
I'm gonna
before
fix
the
that
next vote?
right now. Yep.
Because Deanna needs names for the record. So for the record, board members, for this vote, the first one up there is number 7, and that's me, Deanna. Number 5, who is number 5? Kristen Matt Miller. Who is number 3?
Catherine.
Number 3 is Catherine Solon. Who is number 4?
Jill.
Jill Maddock Nelson. Number 2,
Bobby?
Bobby Braun. Number 1,
Me.
David Bardo. Number 8, is Abby Maddock.
Yeah.
Number 9
Is me.
is J.D. Schrader. And number 6
Me.
is Angie Schreiber. You got all those, Deanna, for the record? Okay. Nathan, is that going to be fixed, or do we need to take a quick break for that to be fixed?
I should have it fixed for the next vote.
Okay, we won't have voting until we get to item 5, board action. You'll have a few minutes here with the administration reports. I will turn item number 4, administration reports, over to our district administrator.
First, on our administrative reports, we have the Director of Business Services. Mrs. Fossbender is present if anyone has questions. Item B, we have the Director of Pupil Services and Special Education report. Ms. Wagner is present if anyone has questions. Item C, we have the Director of Buildings and Grounds report posted. Mr. Leiterman is present if there are any questions. Item D, we have the Director of Technology report posted, and I would like to ask Mrs. Mushak to read the recognition for our WIMTA conference national recognition for our staff member. Mrs. Mushak, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Would you please share the write-up?
You bet. Donna Krieger attended the Wisconsin Educational Media and Technology Association WIMTA conference, where educators and technology leaders from across the state gathered to share best practices, explore emerging instructional technologies, and collaborate on innovative approaches to teaching and learning. During the conference, Donna was recognized with the 2026 International Society for Technology and Education ISTE's Make It Happen Award. This prestigious national award honors educators and leaders who demonstrate exceptional commitment, leadership, and innovation in the effective use of technology to support student learning. Donna's recognition reflects her ongoing dedication to advancing meaningful technology integration and supporting educators and students through thoughtful, forward-thinking use of digital tools. Her leadership in this area continues to positively impact teaching and learning within our district and the broader education community. We congratulate Donna on the well-deserved honor and appreciate her contributions to innovation in education.
Thank you. Mrs. Mushak's report is posted if there are any questions. Up next is the Director of Curriculum and Instruction. Ms. Stutzring is present if anyone has questions. And then lastly, I will review my superintendent report. The first one is just an update that I include each month on the progress with John H. Bradley Elementary, and photos are attached, so I encourage you to look at those. Lots of progress is being made. The request still to the board, I know Abby has reached out and Catherine has to try to set up time to go tour the elementary school. I encourage you to reach out. We need to start no later than 4 p.m. to allow the construction workers time to do what they need to do to leave the work site on time.
Do they reach out to you personally, Mrs. Oginski?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please. Yes. Also, I've been busy with principal evaluations to prepare for the end of the year and review with each of our building principals. We had a meeting with Jake, Kesha, Kelly, and I to discuss fobs for the doors as an additional safety precaution. Currently, we are considering going with either wired fobs or battery-operated fobs. We're waiting for some additional information about how the battery-operated doors will connect with our current system, because it's very important that all of that tie in together for safety reasons and to be able to lock down every classroom and every hallway should there be an incident where there was an intruder in our building. So there will be more to come around that, and whatever system we determine for John H. Bradley would likely be also placed, it would be in the middle school and the high school. Ms. Stutzring and I have also been working with the middle school around master scheduling with Mrs. McCann and Mr. Mock. They had a meeting today that I missed. I was on a call with Mr. Rundy, so we will be continuing that work as well. Also, Ms. Fassbender, Ms. Stutzring, and I have started reviewing staffing allocations for the upcoming year. This is standard procedure for our team each year. For budgetary purposes, we have to align staffing to align with student enrollment. Any questions? That's all I have.
Before we go to item 5A, because when a motion gets on the floor, we cannot go any farther until we deal with that motion. Nathan, are we set for the voting devices? Okay. Okay, thank you. Item 5A, consideration to approve the first reading of Neola draft policies for the board, volume 35, number 1. Let me remind the board, this is a first reading, and it will come back again next month, should it pass this board meeting, for a second reading. I will be looking for a motion.
I move to approve the first reading of Neola draft policies for the board, volume 35, number 1, as presented.
Motion has been made by Kristen. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, after we had our policy meeting, it brought to our attention that we should look at 5136 again. Reading it directly, it implies that students can't have their cell phones at after-school activities. So we need to look at that language to make sure that that's not what we're intending. So it currently reads, while students may possess PCDs in school, on school property during after-school activities and at school-related functions, they must be powered completely off. I'm wondering if how we word that, so it's only participants, because it shouldn't be like in the stands or whatnot like that.
Students. Do you want to pull that policy from this batch? We can do that and then send it back to curriculum committee.
Okay. Let's do that.
Okay.
So then I guess I need to amend my motion.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll change the motion, or amend my motion. I move to approve the first reading of Neola draft policies for board volume 35, number 1, as presented, with the exception of policy 5136.
There's an amendment to the motion on the floor, and the amendment is to approve all the Neola policies with the exception of policy 5136. We will address all of our discussion to the amendment, which is to send policy 5136 back to curriculum committee. Any discussion of the amendment on the floor to send policy 5136 back to committee? All right, hearing no discussion of the amendment that's on the floor, your voting device will be open for the amendment, which is to send policy 5136 back to curriculum. Ready? Dr. Bardo's not in the room, so would anyone like to change their vote? The vote is now closed. Let the record reflect that all members were in favor of sending this one policy back to committee. Now we are back to the main motion on the floor, which the main motion now is to approve the first reading of Neola draft policies for the board, volume number 35, number 1 as presented, with the exception of number, what's that number?
5136.
5136 being referred back to committee for approval. Any other discussion of the motion on the floor? All right, hearing no discussion of the motion on the floor, your voting device is now open. Would anyone like to change their vote? All right, the vote is now closed. And the motion carries with Dr. Bardo abstaining from the vote as he was absent from the room. Moving to letter B, consideration to approve the teacher contract language only. I will be looking for a motion, please.
Point of order.
State your point of order.
Mrs. Zarumsky came down and in her presentation, she stated that she thought there was the possibility of a meeting with administration to discuss it. Is that the understanding?
I'm not aware of to discuss the contract. That was to discuss PTO days.
Well, what was presented was the amount for
Liquidated damages.
or liquidated damages. My personal feeling is that we should, and I'm not making a motion yet, I'm sorry. But my feeling is that with that big a change, and I understand that there are reasons due to people taking contracts.
Okay, you're
And
getting a
that-
little beyond the
Okay.
point of order. but-
All right, excuse me.
Okay.
I apologize. I make a motion to postpone the language until the next school board meeting, which is on April 20th, so a discussion between our teaching staff can gain understanding from our administration as to why the numbers they were looking at. So that's my motion.
Okay, Dr. Bardo, that's a lengthy motion. Can you slow that verbiage down so Deanna can catch the motion to be able to put it on the screen for everybody to know what we are voting upon?
The motion is to postpone this item until the April 20th regular board meeting so there can be informational discussions so that the teachers understand why you were looking at this amount and the possibility of relooking at the amount.
Postpone until April the 20th, 2026 board meeting to allow discussion between the administration and the teachers to clarify the verbiage in the contract.
Sounds good.
in the contract. Deanna, can you please read that motion back to the board, please?
Motion is to postpone.
In your microphone, please.
Motion is to postpone until April 20th, 2026, to discuss with administration and teachers to clarify the language in the contract. Correct?
Okay, Dr. Bardo, your motion is before us. You may speak to your motion.
I just think that we need to have a get-together between some teachers and the administration so that the teachers understand why the administration wanted to go to this level and to provide them with this information, and then the possibility of making a change if the administration changes their minds to lower the penalty.
Okay, would anybody like to speak to the motion on the floor? Angie,
I would,
can you speak to your mic?
Sure. I agree with what Dave is saying. I think it would be wise to take a look at the results of this, I believe, the staff survey that has been, we've gotten the results, but we have not reviewed it as of yet. And
Yeah,
then
the
also-
survey doesn't have to do with their contract.
No, but we're also wanting to retain teachers, so we don't.
Oh,
want-
okay.
yeah.
I thought you were just specifically talking about
No.
the contract.
Nope, so I think we need to look at making sure that we're retention-friendly, I guess, if you will. And I believe that reviewing the staff survey will help with that. I'm not sure what's going to come out of the climate and culture meeting that's scheduled.
Angie, you need to keep your comments to the motion on the floor,
It is,
which is, you're talking about staff, climate, and culture. We're
which
talking
has to
about
do with the contract.
referring the contract.
Yes.
That's in the contract language?
No.
But what about
No.
stuff like paid for subbing during?
Wait just one
craft? Is that
second.
in the contract?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
So I think that we need to revisit this,
Okay.
to look more in detail into certain things, yes.
Thank you. I agree with you. JD?
I was just wondering if we could talk about some of the other stuff on this. I don't know if that's reasonably related.
Not at this point, because the motion is on the floor to refer this to next month's board meeting to allow administration and staff to collaborate together.
Does this need to go back to HR committee?
Right now, the motion that's on the floor is to refer this to administration and the teaching staff to collaborate together. I'd be open to an amendment to that motion that's on the floor, if a member would like to so move.
So moved.
We have an amendment on the floor for this to be referred back to committee, which it can be referred to committee because the committee meets early in the month before the meeting. And are you referring back to the committee the document that was given to us tonight?
I am.
Let the record reflect that the amendment to the motion on the floor is to refer this back to the HR, did you say the HR Finance Committee? To the HR Finance Committee with the document that was provided from Mrs. Zaromski for discussion. So now that the amendment on the floor from Bobby is to refer it to committee, would you like to speak to your amendment?
I just feel that it belongs in committee for discussion prior to the board meeting.
Correct. Okay. Any other, Jill?
No, I don't think I was next. I feel like Abby.
Jill?
Okay. Just looking at the calendar and spring break, I just want to make sure that looking at going to committee in April, when we're approaching a weekend spring break, would give time is all. So that, and that's not just time for admin, but also staff to be
Staff.
available for this to occur.
Okay. JD?
I guess I still wanted to talk about the ideas for staff retention, and I did not know if that was now allowed, because now you're talking about referring the whole document back to committee.
Correct.
So I can?
You cannot, because we're just talking about referring it back to committee. Talk to the committee chairman if it passes and get your ideas there. Any other questions or comments?
I just want to
Abby?
make sure that all teachers will have a voice in this.
I would hope so, yes. All right, if hearing no discussion, we are voting on the amendment to refer this to the HR Finance Committee. What is the date of that, Jill, since you have your calendar open?
Monday, the 13th?
Monday, April the 13th at 4:30 is the HR Finance Committee meeting. This document that Mrs. Zaromski gave to us will be on the agenda for discussion. That is the amendment that you're voting for. The voting device is now open. Would anyone like to change their vote? Okay, vote is now closed. And that amendment carries, and that amendment now becomes the main motion. The main motion being that this document is referred to HR Finance Committee on April the 13th at 4:30 PM for discussion. Any other discussion of the motion? Dr. Bardo.
Based on what has been said, I'm hoping that Mrs. Zaromski will have data on how the teachers feel when that meeting happens with administration, and that meeting should happen prior to the 13th, so that some sort of decision comes to the committee.
Mrs. Zaromski, I would like to ask you to please join that committee meeting on April the 13th at 4:30 and have a seat at the table for the discussion of this document. Thank you.
So is the expectation then that Mrs. Zaromski is to reach out to all teachers in the entire district?
Yes, everyone.
Well, I think I'm guessing that I see some support within the group back in the back. I would hope that she would have the best interests of the teachers when she meets with the administration. And like I said, we voted for this to come to this board because we felt that my position is that if it comes to the committee that I'm on, if administration supports it, I, as a board member, should move it to the full committee. However, when something like tonight happens, we need to reach out and attempt to come to some agreement. And if the administration comes back with no, these are the reasons that we want it to stay the way it is, then as a board member, I'll have to make a decision. But I'm hopeful that some sort of meeting can take place before the 13th, because if administration comes back with the same, then I know they've met and they still feel this is what we need to do, period.
Any other questions or discussion of the motion that is on the floor before you?
The only comment I'll add is, again, I'm just being conscious of time for both admin and staff, noting that we have this week and then spring break. Further noting, no school on Monday, April 6th. So it's a short amount of time. Doesn't mean it can't happen, but to be very transparent, I do think time is going to be a factor.
Correct.
It looks like a nice list of ideas, so it'd be cool to do some of them.
I don't disagree. I'm just talking about to get it by time to review, have the discussion, and have it prepared by the committee meeting. Simply that. I'm supportive of pushing it, gathering that information.
Any other discussion of the motion that's on the floor? Hearing no discussion of the motion on the floor, your voting device is now open. Would anyone like to change their vote? Vote is now closed. And this motion carries.
Danny, can I say one thing, please?
If it's in relation to the motion that we just voted on, I'm sorry, we have to move on because discussion ended on that.
Okay.
Thank you. Letter C, consideration to approve the new position of an agricultural technical education teacher at Antigo Middle School. I would be looking for a motion.
I move to approve the position of an agricultural technical education teacher at the Antigo Middle School for the 2026-27 school year.
Motion has been made by Dr. Bardo. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Sure. It came to committee, and I believe that this is the way to improve our numbers at the high school, by getting 6th, 7th, and 8th graders learning about this program, so that when they get to high school, they will see that as a benefit for them. So I'm going to vote yes.
Any other discussion of the motion on the floor? Jill?
I will vote in favor of this as well, and I would just note that there was quite the concern, and reasonably so, given the information or lack thereof that was available to the public, I think last summer, specific to industry and rumors that we were reducing or eliminating our CTE program, which led to the Industry Business Leaders Coalition is the word I'm going to use right now. But there was great concern for that, and in fact, this shows and demonstrates that our district fully supports our CTE Ag program, and had previously hoped to split a position, I believe, at the middle school and high school level to promote that growth early on, and the middle school being no different than discussion earlier about aquatics, where the club team is a feeder program to the high school team, so it's essentially that same concept where by expanding this to the middle school would be the feeder program into the high school. So I hope our industry leaders that we work very closely with and respect immensely are very excited about this expansion, and can show the trust of our district being committed to maintaining and further expanding our CTE programming.
Thank you. Any other discussion of the motion on the floor? I would like to come behind Mrs. Domke for what she said in public comment, and remember those three big points that she made about time, patience, and support. That's very important. I'm glad that you spoke about that, because it does take time to build a program. Hearing no other discussion of the motion on the floor, your voting device is now open. Would anyone like to change their vote? The vote is now closed, and the motion carries. Letter D, consideration to approve the new position at John H. Bradley Elementary, additional administrative assistant. I will be looking for a motion, please.
I move to approve a building administrative assistant position for John H. Bradley Elementary.
Motion has been made by Catherine. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Only that this was brought before committee, and this is just one piece of the puzzle in getting the new school up and going.
Would anyone like to speak to the motion on the floor? All right, hearing no discussion, your voting device is now open. Would anyone like to change their vote? The vote is now closed, and that motion carries. Letter E, consideration to approve the Start College Now Early College Credit. I will be looking for a motion.
I move the board to approve the Start College Now ECCP applications for the fall 2026 semester.
Motion has been made by Jill. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Yeah, I'm curious if, on the topic summary sheet, if the numbers could be put on the screen, or if you'd just like me to verbally share. But I think celebrating our successes is really important, and I'd love to be able to show just, do we have the numbers from fall 22?
Mrs. Stetstream, was this part of a presentation that you're going to do? Thank you, Jill. Well, we're bringing this up.
There you go.
So at committee, it was asked that we express to the community what classes our students are taking for Start College Now Early College Credit at the high school, and also share the data around the hard work of our high school staff of increasing our students' participation in it. So to go back to fall of 2022, we had 5 students who were entered into either the Start College Now or Early College Credit. In the spring of that year, there were 8 students. In fall of 2023, we had 15 students. In the spring, we had 18. The fall of 2024, we had 18. In the spring, we saw a huge jump of 2025 with 38 students. Fall of 2025, we had 48 students. Our current spring that we're in right now, we have 41, and looking for fall of 2026, we're sitting at 54 students with an added of phlebotomy classes, which is a new academy that has been started through NTC, which we have 4 students who have signed up for currently. So this presentation just talks through, the question also was asked of me from Jill about DPI, and if we have numbers of students taking early college credit or Start College Now from not only this community, but surrounding communities. And when I reached out to DPI, they do not collect specific data to early college credit and Start College Now. They only do a dual credit because it's pulled from our SIS, or our Student Information Center. So if you wanted to look at how many dual credits, that's on everyone's state report card. So if you look up a school district on DPI and look at their state report card, you can see how many dual credit, dual enrollment opportunities their students have. One thing that this did spark is I've talked to our enrollment person, Ms. Krivishine, to make sure, in the high school, to make sure that we're adequately in our SIS, or our Student Information Center, system, to make sure that we're adequately identifying the correct, to make sure that it goes on our state report card correctly. So there's 2 places that we put that into our SIS, and then also into a different portal for Start College Now early college credit. Okay, so then Jill also asked that I share with the community. So Nathan's just going to click through. These are the courses that our students are currently signed up for the fall of 2026. You can go real quick through them. Just to show that there's a lot of different opportunities for our students that they can sign up for based on what pathway they want to do after high school. I feel like there should have been music, but there's not. We see a lot in the marketing and in the business world, but we're starting to see a little bit more in the nursing, the health fields, which is exciting for our students, and that phlebotomy class will be great. Again, our welding academy, we have that allowance for our students to complete the whole thing, even though it'll go above the 18 credits. So we have a lot of students who are very excited to continue that opportunity in the welding program.
Amy, I had a parent mention to me that they were trying to get credit for Chinese, and it was offered by the same place as the Spanish for the high school, but they couldn't, and I was just curious if there was I figured there must have been some reason you said no.
Is that something I can speak to?
Actually, it is not, because we're talking about College Start Now
We
program.
can speak at another time about that.
Is it, so those credits aren't for college then?
Those are not Start College Now or early college credit classes. Spanish is not under ours either. These are the ones that they have to fill out the form and the application prior to October 1st for the spring semester, and prior to March 1st, which is why it's being brought to the board today, so that for the fall of 2026. But we can talk at another time, JD. And that's the last one. Any other questions on Start College Now or early college credit?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tetstream. Any other questions? Hearing no questions or discussion, your voting device is now open. And thank you to whomever made that presentation. Would anyone like to change their vote? The vote is now closed. And the motion carries. Letter F, discussion and possible action on the joint HR Finance and Building and Grounds Committee report. Any recommendations therefrom regarding the Clara R. McKenna Aquatic Center, and discussion and possible action on the Clara R. McKenna Aquatic Center's future operations. Davis, do I have to start with a motion, or can we start with discussion, or does a motion have to be on the floor?
Start with discussion.
Okay, the floor is open for discussion unless somebody wants to throw a motion on the floor. Hearing no motion, let's start with the discussion.
I would bring up a point of concern.
Okay,
First of all, I think it's important to formulate the focus group that was spoke about tonight, as well as collaborating with Mr. Koss in creating that committee, whether that's all, the same committee, separate committees, I'm not sure, but I'd like to discuss that.
okay. Any other discussion? Because there's no motion on the floor, but any other discussion?
Davis, if we would have put aquatic center in the referendum, could we have spent some of that money on the maintenance? We just never thought of it. Too late now, I was just curious.
I guess I can't. You would have to really specify the use of that money, but
But really, because this is a conversation about, or a discussion regarding the aquatic center, even though there's not a motion on the floor, is it necessary to talk about what ifs? We didn't do that. The referendum is passed.
Correct.
Sorry, JD.
I agree with Bobby that we need people working together, small groups, experts that I don't believe are us up here. I'm not an expert on all of these funds and what we've spent on and what we haven't spent on, and I think we need to listen and work together.
Davis, can you respond to her comments earlier when she was reading from the DPI website? Did they just kind of change it? I see that I had some stuff from the DPI website that they now removed, that I screenshotted, so I'm then confused.
So let me talk about generally Act 10, or I keep referring to it as Act 10. Fund 10 and Fund 80. So it goes back to how, you have to go back to the point of origin with how this program was set up. This was set up as a Fund 80 program. So you offer many services and programs throughout your district. Some of them are Fund 10 programs. Some are Fund 10 services. Those are the educational services. The decision by the board 20 years ago was to set the pool up into a program that was a Fund 80. It's a community service program and community service. So therefore, you can only spend Fund 80 monies on that program or service. So there is a scenario where had this building been a Fund 10, originally organized as a Fund 10 activity and a Fund 10 program dedicated for the main purpose of helping you guys provide education to your kids, you could use Fund 10 money for that. You can use Fund 10 money for some aspects of this, such as the rental time to have your extracurriculars or your gym classes, things like that, be in that building. But once the decision is made and the program is set up for it to be a Fund 80 expenditure, then you have to use Fund 80 funds for that. Now, so to the public comment point, there is a world where, had it been in Fund 10, you could be funding the whole thing through Fund 10. And in my opinion, if an action was taken to make this only an educational building, so no more memberships, no more people coming and going throughout the day. This is almost exclusively meant for the educational program, and you were to make that decision and change it, you could then begin the Fund 10 funding. You need to look very closely at the financials, though, to determine if you want to spend $650,000 up to $1 million a year out of your educational balance to pay for a building that, for the most part, is going to be unused throughout the day. Because you aren't going to set a educational curriculum that is using the pool building every hour of the day. And so that doesn't make a lot of fiscal sense to do it that way. Now, you can do it as was suggested by JD on Wednesday, that there are periods where the building is rented out. There are certain abilities to kind of allow the community access, but what this is, I mean, you're still operating a deficit. That deficit's going to come out of your educational fund. So it's a decision for you and and to think of what your purpose is as a school. Do you want to be taking the educational funds to essentially fund a community activity?
Glenda, will you speak to your meeting with the YMCA last week? So they're basically, it's agreed to stay open till May for sure. So we have this time to fundraise theoretically.
Correct. They have agreed to take care of things to keep it operational until May 1st.
And is the contract up on May 1st, or did you guys just pick May 1st for, like, we could?
No, they chose May 1st. That was what they agreed to.
And are they having to send someone up to do the maintenance, or, the 10 hours a week that we were somehow doing? How much?
They will have to pull someone that already works for them to do that work.
Did they mention how much that would cost to keep going?
No.
Okay.
We didn't talk figures. The main priority was to be able to keep the aquatic center open. And that was the quickest way to make sure that that happened.
Okay.
So I personally feel like it's very difficult to make any decision without seeing a true balance sheet budget as what kind of dollars we're actually looking at. And it's my understanding that Kelly would be the most connection. So how do we get so that Kelly can be, or whomever it is, to work under Fund 80 so that we can have educated discussions about what we're looking at?
So earlier in the committee, Kelly did present an estimate of what things would be if everything were taken solely out of Fund 80. Would you do you have a
No,
copy of
it's
that?
my fault that I wasn't here. But I'm just, I have ongoing conversations. We need some sort of liaison from a district. I don't feel like having it be a board member is the best option. I think we need to be having someone under the payroll of Fund 80 to move forward to make a decision.
If I may, Kristen, that's one of the problems you're having, is you don't have anyone under a Fund 80 payroll.
Right. I think that is a key factor in our decision-making, is to get that in place.
So then if we did have a person in that position, then am I thinking of this correctly, where we would still have to be kind of concerned about continued funding, right? Because even after we get that position in there and they're reporting, the revenue and expenses and everything, how do we continue to fund this is going to be a constant worry.
Right, but if I'm having to ask taxpayers to pay, 10 cents more versus $1 or more to make it functional, that's an important number to have. And there are some things that we were talking about at the meeting last week that we can increase revenue. I mean, there are opportunities there to do so. So without actually seeing what those numbers are and have someone actually working on that, how are we going to make a decision?
So Kelly basically said we were $141,000 short, not including maintenance needs.
For this year.
Is that,
So the numbers that I have, yes. So your revenues are $300,000 of taxpayer money from the levy, $62,000 from the district for district rentals. And then you have rental fees from hospital physical therapy and party rentals of about $40,000. Donations between the last 2 years was roughly around $20,000, which is not significant, obviously. And then you have swim club of $2,000 annually for their use. And then within the memberships and admissions is about $71,000.
So even though if we have those numbers, if we want to increase those numbers and change those numbers or add something and take away, we have no one in the district right now able to do that.
Correct.
That's a problem.
so they're looking for the community, Tom, they're looking, what foundation did you say it was? The Anigo Foundation?
It's a district foundation created 25 years ago to benefit the district.
And they have a board, so we need someone who can meet with them, maybe just a little committee of this board. If they're gonna do lots of fundraising, we just need, obviously, we need to have better communication with that board, so it should be some board members, presumably. I don't know, like Angie and Abby, they'd be some good volunteers.
But to Kristen's point, you raise the money, we still don't, and we don't have anybody staffed through Fund 80, so then what do you do, right? I mean, like, ultimately, you still come back to it's a personnel issue under the, having nobody funded under.
So we could fund, like Davis kept saying, a small portion of a contract under Fund 80. Because I'm operating under the assumption that we are not going to eliminate Fund 80, so there's not really a danger of that person being fired. I don't know if the rest of you feel the same way.
Right.
Well, it
Depends on who's going to run the aquatic center, if they're needed for that purpose.
Say that again, Glenda? I'm sorry.
If we need to hire a person for that purpose, it would just be dependent upon what the purpose of Fund 80 was going to be used for.
You would likely have to hire at least two people, a director and a maintenance director.
If they could get a contractor to come in locally, right, that person wouldn't have to be a full-time employee, they would just have to be contracted out, right? That would be using Fund 80, but not an employee, so that would presumably, I don't know, I'm sure they charge at least $100 an hour, so it's not cheap, but
What we learned at the last meeting is maintenance is a daily occurrence.
Correct. And truly to have somebody who is doing a long-term maintenance plan, who is planning on what does it look like this year, next year, 25 years plus, and really budgeting for those long-term maintenance needs, as well as performing the daily maintenance that's needed.
So we would have this person in this position and not have the contract with the YMCA, is what you're saying? Because the YMCA is supposed to be kind of doing this, I thought. I mean, that's why we're under contract, other than them coming up with just some programming. We shouldn't be paying this much money for just programming. I thought they were helping manage the pool. So I guess so we would have to,
I guess it would determine what we decided to do, but I don't even know how we make decisions without having a go-between, for lack of a better word.
right.
And I guess, yes, if we decide to go forward with the pool, that would have to be a discussion with this individual if that's the job they want. I would imagine it would be a completely different job than what we were asking them to do at this point in time. So I don't know. I just don't know how do we make a decision without that.
Yeah, because in their,
Angie, talking to your mic, somebody's already got my attention, they can't hear you.
sorry. So I'm looking at the memorandum of understanding with the Y, and under it says, what's in YMCA Aquatic Center Director for the Clara McKenna Aquatic Center, we will hire a director at a salary between 40 and 50,000 based on experience. So to me, we should have this person. Do we just need to reach out and have a better,
We do have. They do have.
so do we need to have better communication, more conversations with this person? Like,
The person through the YMCA doesn't have any affiliation with Fund 80. Is that your question?
no.
No.
They're operating the pool. They're overseeing the programming. There are two people.
Okay.
Right, but if we go with Kristen's idea and hire somebody under Fund 80, then we no longer need this contract with the Y? Is that what you're asking?
The Y provides all of the
I don't-
staffing.
yeah, I don't- I
So they
guess I
provide
don't
all of the
understand the question.
lifeguards, they provide all of the training for the lifeguards, they oversee all of the compliance. I mean, you have the memorandum of understanding in front of you, but basically, they are in charge of running the programming to increase revenue and decrease expenses, and look through all of the details with that. But I think the largest piece that is missing is that, or one of the pieces that's missing, is the maintenance piece. So they don't have a director of maintenance that we can contract with them like we contract with them for lifeguards, for a director of aquatics, et cetera.
And just to be clear, there's no possible way of using our own maintenance people to maintenance the building that belongs to us.
Not according to DPI.
We can. Yes, we can do that. They would have to have two separate contracts, and part of their contract would be paid out of Fund 80.
Or
Okay?
you not necessarily need to be contracted, but you need two separate distinct positions.
And then if Fund 80 goes away, then half of that, or whatever percentage of that contract would then go away. So that's what we discussed at the last meeting.
Right,
how
but
you
I think this
prove-
is clear as mud to most people.
That's how you prove that it's an eligible Fund 80 expense, by saying, if this job were to go away, or if Fund 80 were to go away, so would this job.
But Fund 80 will never go away if the pool doesn't go away, correct?
No, you could stop levying and Fund 80 would go away,
Okay.
or you spend it all out.
So, looking at our strategic plan and conversations that were had about big decisions to be made aligning with the strategic plan, some of the conversations also through that work were about community engagement personnel to be hired that would come from Fund 80 also. But currently, everything that we use Fund 80 for goes directly to the Aquatic Center. That's it. That's the only use that we have for it currently.
Who is this person that is supposed to be overseeing all of this for the YMCA?
Is it Ben or Abby who oversees everything?
They
Ben?
both have different leadership positions. Abby oversees regional facilities and has specific pieces, and Ben is more of our specific leadership position.
So why aren't they here tonight?
Abby is traveling for work and Ben is on vacation.
We have never had any, not from my experience anyways, has never had any kind of communications from the YMCA on how the Aquatic Center has been doing.
So part of the confusion which has been happening is that there was a aquatic board meeting. That is where the YMCA communicates with the aquatic board, discusses financials, discusses all of the program updates and those pieces. Hence why the confusion, I believe, that's been happening is what is the legal role of the aquatics board? What is the legal role of the school board? How does it all fit together to ensure that the aquatic center is operational and operating without a deficit? So that's the discussion that's been happening since October, why legal counsel is involved, and the discussions that's been happening with DPI around where is the funding going to come from. So it is very convoluted, but I think that it's very clear now what the role is of these different entities and the issues that we have at hand, but,
Why has it been going on since October?
well, October was
I
the meeting
understand
in
that
which,
you guys are very busy. There's a lot going on, but
so my role in the Aquatic Center is to discuss Fund 80. My role as a Director of Business Services is not to manage the pool's finances, directly looking at any of their programming, all of those things. My role is to set the levy for Fund 80 and for Fund 10, and I do not have a role in how successful the Aquatic Center is or isn't. My role is to determine if we're going to have a deficit in Fund 80 or if we're not, because we aren't allowed to have one, and to bring that to the school board. So I don't know what the history is of how different directors of business services have operated in the past, what their role is, whether it was in their contract or however it ended up working. But currently, under the situation that we have now, my job was to report what's in Skyward and the status of Fund 80. So I think that's where the issue is who is owning the successful revenues and expenses of the Aquatic Center as a whole. I manage the taxpayer portion. If we go into a deficit, that becomes a problem. So the board can also look at, do you want to up the levy? You have the option to make it zero. You have the option to keep it at any amount you want. You have the option to increase it. But my job is not to come to you in October and say, the pool is in the red, and what are you going to do for Fund 80? So it's coming to the school board because, for whatever reason, it has not since I've been aware.
So basically, there's too many chefs in the kitchen.
no, there's not enough chefs in the kitchen because nobody's showing up.
No, but no, yeah.
No, I guess, Catherine, to your
Need to
question
streamline
of,
it.
this isn't to address necessarily what has been going on, it's to address how we're going to go forward. And that's what Wednesday was. And it's for this board to now kind of have their eyes opened to this issue. And Wednesday was a decision by this board to say, all right, we're not going to get caught up in how many chefs there are in the kitchen. We're now going to start addressing it as the 9 of you. And certainly valid questions to want to know how we got here. But as I think, and I'm not a board member, right? I'm just here to advise you guys. But what the focus really should be, even though it's a valid question to find out what happened, is what are we going to do about it going forward? And the most prudent questions are, if you want to move forward with it, how do you do so in a compliant way? How do you afford to do that? If you don't want to move forward with it, what are options to end the operation? Is it to sell it, to put it to public auction, to work with a community foundation and say, if this is so beloved by the community, then here, community. But at the end of the day, what I brought up earlier is, I think you should all be focused on the mission of the school and providing an education.
So Davis, whenever you say here, community foundation, can the district say literally here, this is your building, this is your aquatic center, and the district back away from everything? In other words, we could sell it to this foundation for X amount of dollars, or give it to this foundation and let them run it? Is that an option, a viable option for our board to do? Because I don't think anybody wants to close the aquatic center in this room, not a single person.
So the short answer is yes, but you're gonna also wanna look at how, in that, are there gonna be agreements about continued use by the district?
Right.
Because you have uses for it.
Correct.
It's just you don't have the amount of uses for it that the community does. So would you want to work in agreements about, okay, we still need to rent it out so our kids can use it, or our swim team can use it, or Adaptive Phi-Ed can use it?
In doing that, if the board would say, we want to just give this to the Anago Foundation, is that what it's called, Mr. Cost? Yeah.
Unified School District of Anago Foundation.
Okay, so if this were given to that foundation, can we still go in October for the Fund 80 to help support this? Or does it now, it doesn't belong to the school district?
Right.
So we cannot levy for Fund 80 for that 300,000 or whatever amount that is voted on in October?
Correct, you would not be levying any additional funds.
Okay.
You can still levy Fund 80, but you have to use it on your properties and your operations.
Right, so the 300,000 would not be going to that.
Correct. You could use Fund 10 to pay for the contracted services that
Okay.
you are still doing in that building.
So the Phi-Ed classes and the.
Right.
Swim team.
Swim team. and swim
I mean,
club.
that's,
We would pay to use them, just like we do now. We would
Right.
pay to use the facility like we do now.
and
Okay.
correct me if I'm wrong, Glenda, but you've recently had to contract with other pools, right? Haven't you recently had a contract with?
There was something, and I think either the swim club or swim team had to go use some time at Wittenberg at their facility.
You used Fund 10 money to pay?
I don't know about that.
Swim club used
They-
their
Got it.
money
Okay.
to do that.
Understood.
Because they're not a district program.
Sure, right,
It's community.
got it.
Part of the reason we appreciate the pool board is because they dealt with all these problems and we never had to. So like, I don't hate that model at all, just we need to somehow have some more oversight of them, so we're not making Davis unhappy. But I don't know how we just really do need a board member to sit in on their meetings once in a while, or to have them come report.
Well,
You
wouldn't
know.
it make most sense to formulate, whatever the process is, to formulate that focus group that involves this board, that board, and the foundation? Which is what I suggested before.
But if you give them the facility and the program, then you wouldn't be in charge of the public funds.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of
We're not-
giving the building
yeah,
away.
That doesn't sound like a very helpful option to take away half the money.
No, I'd like it to remain how it is and formulate the committee that we need to make the dollars roll. And all of the logistics of whatever funds they have to come from, I think that if the money's there, we can
Right.
make that happen.
And at least that committee can consider whether the
Meaning what?
YMCA is the right
We meaning
choice.
who?
This board, that board, and the foundation,
So I want to,
a new focus group.
I think it'd be really important for our community who gave two and a half hours of time in public comment and then waited to get to this point to hear from our board that there has not been a single member of the Unified School District of Anago's board who has stated the goal is to close the aquatic center. If I am incorrect in stating that, please correct me, board members, right now.
Nobody said that.
Correct. I think there is a very strong perception within the community that we are going to close the aquatic center. We want to close it. No, that I want to shut that down because we as a board, that's, the conversation that's occurred about the aquatic center has been recorded in an open session. So I want to make sure that's very, very clear. It comes down to a personnel issue with not having personnel in our Fund 80. And it also comes under a financial discussion on how it's going to be funded. I appreciate all of the public comment, both in the committee meeting and the board meeting. There was significant focus on the use for the community. Very little, and this isn't a bad thing, very little, I don't even know, maybe I missed one, discussion about FIAD classes using the pool. My point is, Aspirus, recreational, classes, club, swim team. Very important, community focused. So we have to figure out what we do, how we pivot to continue operations while knowing that we need to figure out how to continue to fund it. We don't have a liaison through Fund 80, so that's a barrier. What are action steps to doing that? And then I'm going to stand very consistent with saying, because of the community interest, the community use by the pool, we also need community feedback, I think, at minimum of survey to help further guide us. That's further along in the process, but going to Kristen's point, who's our liaison? Going to Bobby's point, are we going to formulate subcommittee, whatever you want to term it, coalition? What are we going to do?
Being mindful that we have until May 1st.
Correct. Thank you.
So should we make a motion to form a focus group, coalition, whatever you want to call it? Okay, I'll make a motion to form a focus group that consists of, community members.
Can you give a number that you want to have of each group of people that you want?
Sure.
How many people are on the pool board?
So I'll do 3 school board members, 3 of the people that were on the pool board, 3 of the members from the community foundation, please.
And presumably, these meetings will be posted, public record.
Yes.
Keep minutes.
Yes.
Davis won't yell at us.
No, because that would fall under the,
What funds are decided.
that's going to fall under the public meetings laws for the school district. So yes, they will all be posted and meetings, minutes kept and everything.
So your motion is to form a task force
Yes.
consisting of 3 board members, 3 school board members, 3 aquatic center board members, and 3 community foundation board members.
Yes.
You want to add or anything take away?
Swim club or anybody else heavily involved in the pool?
Are we going to ask them to select themselves? Essentially, to let the pool board pick their 3 members?
Can I,
I would recommend, you don't have any authority over these people.
The only authority that I would have is choosing the 3 from the school board. I don't have any authority over the other 2 committees.
Yeah.
well, technically, we dissolved the Aquatic Center Board.
That's
So
correct.
That's why I said the people that were on it.
The people that were.
I'm going to go back to numbers and represent, not go back to, but time frame. Did you want to say something, Danny? Sorry.
No, no.
Okay. I go back to time frame. You're talking 3 board members. I'm not opposed to that. However, logistically and conscious of time and scheduling and spring break and a timeline of May 1,
Well, you don't necessarily need all.
do you
3,
need
or
3 is
they
my
need
point.
3.
Do you need 3 here? Do you need 3 from there?
I
Or
believe
do you want representation and it's a posted?
I think to be fair to all, I think 3 from each group would be,
But if they don't get that many, who cares, right? They just got to get the money. Doesn't take.
Well, I think that's part of what got us here, though, is that.
The city. What about representation from the city? Or,
Again, you can invite them. You can
Yeah.
invite them.
but I think.
they can be
you know,
invited to, and participate, but they don't have to actually be on the deal.
Well, we're talking about a community facility. We can invite them.
Yeah.
All right, so Angie, your motion is to form a task force consisting of 3 board members, 3 former poll board members, 3 community foundation members, with an invitation extended to the city of Antigo and the county of Langlade.
Yes, and the swim club, yeah.
Okay?
Invitation. They don't have to be.
And the invitation for the city of Antigo would go to the mayor?
Yes.
And the invitation for the Langlade County would go to the Board of Supervisors,
Or chair.
the board chair? Okay. So you have in front of you a motion on the floor to form a task force which consists of 3 board members, 3 former Aquatic Center board members, 3 community foundation members, with an invitation extended to the city of Antigo through the mayor's office, and an invitation extended to the Langley County Board of Supervisors through the chair,
Yes, to be led by the school district. So that way we make sure we.
to be led by the school
know
district.
who's-
Okay? To be chaired by the school district. Okay? Okay. Angie, you want to add anything more to your motion? Any discussion about that?
No further at this time.
Any other discussion of the motion on the floor?
Should we add to then, like, their mission to fund it and to decide if we need a Fund 80 staffer at some point, or are they just, we're going to let them figure out the agenda? Hey, should we retain?
I think that's
YMCA?
where the chair of the
Just let
board
them-
from the school would have all of that information with their first meeting.
Okay, is this
Yeah.
gonna, can we have the opportunity to have more motions related to this?
No.
Before we move on?
No, this would be it.
You can only have one motion in an agenda item?
You can do multiple motions.
Okay. Sorry, I stand corrected by corporate
Okay.
counsel.
Decide on this motion first. Sorry.
Any other discussion of the motion that is on the floor before you? Nathan, you have that all in the computer system?
I believe I do, yes.
Okay?
Do you want me to read it back?
No, that's okay, we got it. Anybody want that motion read?
Yes, please.
Okay, Nathan, go ahead and read it.
All right, the motion that I have typed out is motion to form a task force that consists of 3 school board members, 3 former pool board members, and 3 from the community foundation members, with invitations extended to the 2 other local government entities and swim club members to be led by the school district.
Swim club members.
Did I hear swim club members in here?
I believe that was part of Angie's.
Yes.
And, okay,
Or
thank
was
you.
it?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I didn't either.
All right,
I would consider an amendment to the motion to just the swim club president,
Okay.
since we put a number on everything else.
You're right.
So that would give them
Yeah.
Okay.
equal representation. So I'd like to amend the motion to.
say this swim club
To the swim
president.
club president.
Yes.
We're still-
So the amendment or the motion is to extend the invitation to the swim club president. That's what you'll be voting on first. Are there any questions of that amendment?
Can you read it one more time?
It's just the swim club president. This is not.
What are your other governmental, what do you mean by that, entities?
That would be the
City of Antigo and the Langlade County Board of Supervisors.
It does say that. City of Antigo Mayor, County Board Chairman.
Yes.
Yes, please.
And the Langlade County Board of Supervisors, information going to the chair.
Yeah, the county chair, you read it.
Thank you.
Adding swim club president.
So the motion before, or the amendment before you will read that we will form a task force consisting of 3 school board members, 3 former poll board members, 3 community foundation members, with an invitation to the City of Antigo Mayor and an invitation to the Langley County Board of Supervisors, the Chair, and the President of the Swim Club,
To be chaired by the school board.
to be chaired by a member of the school board. Okay? Any other questions of the amendment that's on the floor? All right, hearing no questions of the amendment on the floor, the voting device is now open. Would anyone like to change their vote? The vote's now closed. And the amendment passes. Now that amendment is the main motion. Any other discussion of that motion that's on the floor? Jill?
Is there discussion on time frame of when we'd like to get something coordinated or how?
This is your motion to, you can add amendment or whatever you would like to do here.
Well, that's, I'm not necessarily wanting to amend. I'm just wondering if it's fair game to have a discussion on,
That's why I said it to be led by somebody that's from the school board to be on the chair. So we'd keep it rolling.
Did we already pay the YMCA? Are they paid for the full year up front, or do you pay them gradually?
Again, nothing to do with that.
So how long can we run, Kelly, before we run out of money?
right, that's,
First.
Did you guys vote?
Again, that has nothing
We
to
have-
do with the motion on the floor.
trying to do, the timetable, and trying to decide.
I think that would be up to the chair of the committee, Jill, to be responsible to do that, in my.
Any other questions of the motion that's on the floor? All right, hearing no questions or discussion of the motion on the floor, the voting device is now open. Would anyone like to change their vote? The vote's now closed. And that motion carries. JD, you want to entertain another motion
Further discussion.
or further discussion?
Jake, I have the donor's email, and he was interested in getting some independent quotes for that work. Is that okay? Like, we can just, maybe they'd be way cheaper?
I don't,
Can't hear you.
I wasn't talking.
Yeah, you said 2 words. Okay.
I don't know if it'd be accurate to say way cheaper. I've had discussion with a potential donor and been in agreement on the appropriate quotes to proceed with.
Okay. And somehow, can we get those quotes to this new committee so they can, I don't know if they got to send them to us to approve, or if we could just approve them right now and agree to spend the donor's money so we can get that going?
I don't think that's appropriate if we don't know what's going to happen.
correct.
But they have,
If we're gonna,
it could be a donor gamble, like, hey, I'm going to fix this door. Somehow you guys are going to keep this building open. Right, because you said it's going to be shut down in 30 days by the city if we don't fix the door or something.
That's already taken care of.
The ticket or the fixing the door?
Fixing the door.
Okay. So in the future, do we want this committee, what do we want to hear from them? Assuming let's say we get this going, they get the money. How often do you want them to report to the board?
When you say get the money, what are you referring to?
I'm saying they build up an endowment, and now we have an extra $140,000 operational money to run, and they get some more so we can do maintenance. So the pool continues. I'm assuming it all works. How often do you want them to report to the board?
I think we need to get to May 1st. And then if this is going to be something that carries on, then I would see it being a committee, just like every other committee, that it's a monthly option. Not all committees meet every month, but it would be a monthly option. But we need to get to May 1st and decide where we go from there.
With a
This isn't a long-term solution. This is a short-term, keep Band-Aid. Yeah.
Okay.
In my, unless someone else is seeing this something different.
It's very evident that we need to get together, share all information, sources of potential donors, revenue. I mean, we can improve our revenue streams. Like, it's all the things we talked about, but there has been no clear plan. It's been what has gotten us here. So we just need to be very direct. We have a time frame, and then we have to create action steps.
So would the next plan of action be to pick a date to get our newly formed committee together?
I think Danny needs to assign the committee.
Yes.
Yeah.
While Danny ponders that, just Kelly, how long can we go before the Fund 80 runs out of money? Until we got a real flat-out emergency, assuming we can keep the maintenance going? Roughly.
What gave you the microphone? You have $150,000 of fund balance. If you choose, I mean, you have the numbers in front of you, so I'm not going to tell you how long it's going to be until you run out of money. You operated in a deficit of $43,000 just alone last year with just simple numbers. There are a significant amount of expenses that cannot come from Fund 10 any longer that account for an even greater deficit. So you need to drastically either increase your revenues or drastically decrease your expenses, or both, or drastically increase your tax levy. I mean, those are choices you all have to make. You don't have long. I mean, obviously, last year you were already operating in a deficit. $150,000 doesn't get you very far, hence why we're here.
And a May 1 deadline, because our personnel issue.
You also don't have a director of maintenance, any maintenance position within the budget that you're operating in a deficit as of right now, or a person who is associated with the financials to determine a best course of action. So those are all things that are not accounted for in that deficit that you have currently. There's also pieces that are within the swim club which need to be addressed this week regarding the timing system. So there's installation pieces that need to be addressed and within the Fund 80 budget that aren't currently in there now that can't be addressed by Fund 10. So there's very timely things and decisions that have to be addressed to ensure that you're operating within compliance and without a deficit. And then as of May 1st, I'm not sure what the plan is going to be because the YMCA can no longer continue with the maintenance piece.
But potentially they could.
They said they're not. And they said they're also not buying the pool either. So that, because that was brought up by the board last time as well, is could the YMCA buy the pool? It was a hard no because of the operational expenses that come along with the disconnect with revenues.
Right.
Is there appetite on the board to split some position to help get a very small part-time Fund 80 staffer? I'm not saying we should do it right now, I'm just saying isn't even an option. Because if they say no, then you narrow something down.
The only reason I'm pausing, JD, is what this board has worked very hard to establish is that that's a decision made by administration. Now, if the program were to be substantially changed, the Fund 80 program, to need to account for that, then that, I think, would be a proper board decision. But in terms of just saying, here's a new job description. I think that's ultimately a decision that administration needs to work closely with the board on.
JD, I see your wheels are
I
turning.
was just trying to decide if there was anything obvious else we could accomplish practically. Does it occur to anybody else?
I think we could set who the three school board members are going to be.
Well, Angie, I would like to ask you to serve, because you have a lot of time invested in this already. I'm just going to leave it open. I don't know anybody. Dave shaking his head no.
JD?
I only got a month left. I'm not a good choice.
So, Danny, I strongly feel that you should be the chair of this, and the reason being is because you have the authority to have conversations with Davis.
Okay.
I do not. So I can co-chair, but like, I feel, if that's what you would like.
We could do that. Is there another member who would like to serve?
I would, but
Bobby?
I'm on the ballot. April 7th. So I'm not sure what happens at that point.
You're on the
Correct.
board through the next meeting,
You're on the board through April 20th,
no matter.
or actually through the fourth Monday in April. April 27th is whenever your term ends, the fourth Monday of April. Oh, sorry.
Positive.
So yes, I would then.
Okay, so the three board members will be myself, Angie, and Bobby. I'll serve as the chair. Mary Jo, when would you have three people right off the top of your head? And when would you like to, I'd like to meet sooner rather than later.
Well, I think we need to talk about that.
Sure. So you've got,
We're ready to meet whenever. We already said that.
okay, so you have my contact info. Just reach out to me and we'll get something very quickly on the calendar. Does that sound like a fair plan? Tom, what about you? And if you two can reach out to me, we'll get something together. And I think this is a good step forward in the right direction. Okay? Anybody else? Okay. No other discussion. Let me get back over, because I actually pulled up a calendar just in case we could set a date right now, but I understand. Okay, moving on to letter G, resolution authorization letter of censure. Before we go to a motion, I want to pass out to the board.
Sorry.
Do we have enough? Yeah, those. That is the resolution. I want to thank everybody that is making the departure for your time and your energy and your passion. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. All right. Before I ask for a motion, I have a memorandum from our corporate counsel, Davis Rundy, and I'm going to submit this for public record as what I'm reading from here, because I had questioned him on two different topics, and he wrote back replying to both of those topics, so I can't submit both those topics into the record. But this is the record for board member conduct. Dear President Pyatt, I'm writing in response to your recent inquiry regarding two issues facing the board. The second relates to a sitting board member sharing the personal cell phone numbers of other board members with a member of the public, seemingly in an effort to allow pressure to be applied to the board to disclose confidential information. Board member discipline. This issue arises from a board member sharing the personal cell phone numbers of other board members with a member of the public. This was in response to a citizen's request for the numbers. The context of this request came during a high-profile staff termination of which some members of the public, including this citizen in question, were very upset about. The board, in its bylaws, has policy 0144.5, which states in its general expectations of board members that each board member shall, quote, treat others with respect and dignity at all times. This decency expectation applies in all communications, including while discussing sensitive, controversial, or matters involving disagreement, end quote. In my opinion, this is corporate counsel, the board member's conduct violated this rule. The board member knew their conduct was unprofessional and lacked respect for the privacy of the other board members, prefacing their communication with, quote, you didn't get these from me, end quote. Additionally, the other board members deserve to know about the disclosure of their personal information. Therefore, I recommend the full board address this matter and a letter of censure be issued to the board member in question. And then what you have is two documents, which we will vote on the resolution authorizing letter of censure in just a moment. But the other document that you have is the actual text message information. And this came, once again, did not come from district administration looking for this. It came because Ms. Shelley Haggerty, on behalf of the Center Club Court, made an open records request for board members' information. All of that information went to our legal counsel for their review of redacting any information that should be redacted from the public. And this is what he discovered. There was a conversation between Shelley Haggerty and Abby Maddock. And the conversation went, districts do not run like this anywhere else. I am constantly in shock that she keeps getting away with this. At least it is out there. On Facebook now. This election should be easy to get people in who are not cult followers. Shelley says, for sure. Those first two messages was from Abby. And then Shelley says, my latest request for a meeting, Abby, my latest request for a meeting. Good morning. I am once again requesting a special meeting on the topic of the basketball coach. When you reply to me with the following, quote, any request for a special meeting must be evaluated in accordance with board policy, applicable law, and in consultation with administration and legal counsel. Should a meeting be scheduled, it would follow all required procedures and appropriate parameters. Please also include the documentation from our legal counsel. I believe we have moved, and the message is cut off. And then Shelley responds, thank you, Abby, appreciate it. Is there a way I can obtain phone numbers for boarded members to call them? Abby responds with my name, Payette Danny, and then my contact information, and then the statement, you didn't get this from me. And Shelley says, thanks, I sent an open records request earlier today too. Abby responds, yes, and then she adds Maddock Jill with her contact and Schrader JD with his contact, and then the message cuts off. That's what was sent to us by our corporate counsel. So the resolution authorizing the letter of censure is, whereas the board is in receipt of information that shows a board member, Abby Maddock, the member, shared personal cell phone numbers of other board members, and whereas the board has discussed the member's conduct and has determined that the conduct is in violation of the board's bylaws and the board's expectations of board members, specifically policy 0144.5, and whereas the board finds it appropriate to reprimand the member. Now therefore be it resolved by the school board of the district as follows. Number one, that the board issues the attached letter of censure adopted and approved this 23rd day of March 2026, Unified School Board of the Unified School District of Antigo with my signature and Catherine Solin's signature as the clerk, if that passes. So now I will be entertaining a motion.
When do I get to defend myself? After the motion?
After a motion is made.
My first 5 years on the board, our phone numbers were on the website. I don't know when they all got taken off. It got me a chuckle when I looked and saw that they were now gone. And
I will make the motion so that we can have discussion. I move to approve the resolution authorizing letter of censure as presented.
Motion's been made by Kristen. You can lead the discussion, please, ma'am.
I'll defer to Abby.
Mr. Shenner's not a member of the board. He cannot receive this unless he calls for an open records request.
Okay. Because I have been denied access to the written charges against me on board docs, I have prepared a formal written response, which I am reading into the record now. As a preliminary matter, I object to the consideration of item G. The agenda got switched a bunch of times after I printed this. The supporting memorandum by council dated February 27th, 2026 was briefly visible and then intentionally withheld from my access on board docs. To move for a censure as presented while denying the accused member the right to review the written charges and the draft letter in advance is a fundamental violation of due process and district transparency. The memorandum alleges a violation of privacy regarding cell phone numbers. However, under Wisconsin public records law, contact information used by elected officials to conduct public business is a matter of public record, and we all do. That's how Deanna sees if we're available for expulsion hearings and whatnot. The numbers were shared to facilitate communication between the public and their elected representatives during a period of significant community concern. Providing the public with the means to contact their board is a service to the public, not a violation of policy. A censure is a tool for the board to protect its integrity, not a weapon to be used when a member acts with transparency. Because I've been denied access to the documents being voted on tonight, and because the underlying actions are protected under Wisconsin law, I request the board reject this motion.
I'll refer to our legal counsel for comment on this response.
So, records you create on your personal devices are public records. I don't know if that's exactly what this is addressing, or if I should clarify what the issue the board is addressing is addressed by that provision in the law. This is simply a matter of board concern. If the board isn't concerned about it, they do not need to approve the censure. This is pursuant to your own bylaws about how you expect other board members to act with one another.
JD?
It's just like me, I'm not always on topic. The memorandum was briefly on board docs. I read the first section, and that irritated me more because it was related to legal advice on who could apply to fill the vacancy.
That's not the item that we need to be speaking on.
But you guys gave us the wrong legal advice there, right? You said people who were running could not apply for the seat, and that's exactly opposite
JD,
of
we
what the
cannot
letter said.
speak about board vacancy. We have to speak about what the issue at hand with the letter of censure.
But it was posted under the agenda. I don't,
That is not what I read into the meeting tonight. It was only read board member discipline. That was a mistake that was posted on board docs.
okay. So I don't know. I guess if we're going to censor people, we should give them the notice. It seems like in advance, so you can prepare a defense. Abby did good anyways, but she would have been totally blindsided.
Yeah, I'm very happy for the mistake.
It seems like a petty thing to censor somebody for to me.
I also want to point out, in response to the "you didn't get this from me," It wasn't because I thought that sharing the phone numbers was illegal or really even wrong. We're elected officials, our people should be able to contact us. But I did it because I feared retaliation from this board. And the whole fact that we are here wasting legal fees and wasting people's time, totally. I appreciate that, but it's past my bedtime. But wasting people's time and legal fees to be here, and now I am being, obviously somebody went through the public records that I voluntarily shared, and yeah, they were not great. They don't make me look good. I'm not saying that I don't totally agree with what I said, but they don't make me look good. I wouldn't have shared them. I voluntarily shared them, and someone on this board went through and found a reason to try to attack me.
Nobody on the board found that. It was found by legal counsel.
Okay, fine. Saying I don't say this, you didn't get this from me, simply was because I fear retaliation from this board, and here we are, so that proves it.
Any other discussion of the motion on the floor?
The other thing that was somewhat ironic about the whole situation is a board member's wife posted the Langlade County public officials' address in Antigo information with a whole bunch of public officials' phone numbers in it, like 2 days after this. So granted, that's the Langlade County and not this board, but it seems like, I don't know.
Langley County Board of Supervisors issues a little booklet every year that's available to all constituents. I'm not saying this is right or wrong, I'm just saying that that's what happens, and I was on county board, so our phone numbers were given out, our addresses, everything was given out, along with our wards and everything. So that's something that's standard procedure for the county board, just so you know.
Do we know at what time we took our phone numbers off the district webpage?
I will just speak to, regarding phone numbers and publicly being posted, I've had conversation, I don't remember, that must have been when I was up for reelection, with concern about my personal contact information being released in open records. I think transparency is great, and also if we could have a level of consideration to individuals professionally and personally, and maybe reasons why that could feel unsafe for individuals, and a level of common courtesy, maybe I would use the word transparency to share that personal contact information is shared, and noting that to somebody else would be appropriate, because again, we all don't know what shoes I walk in, you walk in, my fellow board members have walked in, their professional or personal capacities, and how that may impact them. So common courtesy to at least share it, I think would be well received, so that way there could be a heads up if there's an unknown call or number or what to expect, but I think there's a basic standard of decency that we could all hopefully mutually agree upon with that.
I'll accept that, Jill.
Thank you.
I wouldn't be opposed to putting it right in the board bylaws if we really didn't want, if we're going to censor people, it should be very clear what we're not supposed to do.
So just on the topic of publishing your personal cell phone numbers, every time you'd receive a text message, that would become a public record. So the reason you removed it from public view was so that people who wanted to contact you were funneled to your district-provided account, so that we had accurate records of public records and were able to adequately respond to public records requests.
Okay, that makes sense.
I did warn this person after the mistaken memo was on board docs. I did warn her that, our text message is probably going to become a topic coming up soon, and she immediately wrote back to me that she did not contact anyone, and then she also screenshot all 3 of her Google searches, and there's a lot more information on there than a phone number. So I guess if we're going to be censuring like me, probably should censure Google too, because
Any other-
It could be comical, but I do think the level of respect of not knowing the shoes other people walk in and the common courtesy to simply say, hey, I shared your contact information. I feel like we as adults in this room can mutually agree
I
that
already
that might-
agreed with you, Jill. I already said that I expect, but it is late and we are here and we're wasting time and you know
Out of
what? We can
curiosity-
laugh a little bit too.
Is there, because I don't know the rest of this, is it fair to ask if other contact information was given out or if it was?
I would have to ask
collected? I don't know.
corporate counsel.
So, I didn't see anything else in the public records requests that I reviewed.
They were the only three.
So
Katie, Jill, Danny.
is that what the issue that's being taken up with, is the sharing of the cell phones, or is it about the other comments? Was not on the board at that time, so I'm not sure what. Well, I know, but like, there's other comments on here, so I'm not, wasn't sure if it was just regarding the cell phone sharing, is that what?
Or that we're all cult followers, I
Yeah.
think is what Angie's
Yeah.
hearing.
That's not part of it, it's only the cell phones.
Okay.
The action that has been moved to approve is in the resolution. So the conduct that the resolution is concerning is within the resolution itself.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. It's been a long day.
That's okay.
Any other discussion of the motion that is on the floor? Hearing no discussion of the motion on the floor, your voting devices are
I
open.
actually request a roll call vote.
You get a roll call by the screen.
You have a second on this, Danny?
No,
Is there a
I can
second on
request
this
a roll call
motion?
vote.
We no longer do roll call votes during board meetings because of influencing other people's votes. That's the reason why we have the voting device. Was there a second on this motion? Kristen made the motion. I didn't hear a second. Is there a second? We don't second motions because we're a small board.
Understood.
Okay, the voting device is now open.
We're voting on if I should be censored, right?
Correct. Would anyone like to change their vote? All right, the vote is now closed. Three were in favor, 4 was opposed, and 2 was in abstaining. The measure fails. Item letter H, consideration to approve the report of donation.
Because I need to record who's green, who's red. Okay, thank you.
Consideration to approve the report of donations. I will be looking for a motion.
Danny, if we could please wait for the shuffle in the room, I think our donors deserve their names to be heard.
Agreed?
What?
Okay, consideration to approve the report of donations. I will be looking for a motion, please.
I move to approve the following donations. $100 from Zelzowski Wood Products for North Elementary 4th grade trip to Madison.
Motion has been made by Jill. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, thank you to Zelzowski Wood Products for your generous donation, allowing North Elementary 4th grade trip to Madison. It is very much appreciated.
Any other discussion or comments of the motion on the floor? Hearing no discussion, your voting device is now open. Abby, you want to try again? All right, would anyone like to change their vote? All right, the vote is now closed, and the motion carries. Item number 6, closed session. Consideration of a motion to adjourn into closed session pursuant to Section 19.851 of the Wisconsin statutes for the purpose of considering C, employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, and consideration of a motion to adjourn into closed session pursuant to Section 19.851C of the Wisconsin statutes for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the Board of Education has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, including the performance evaluation for the district administrator. Who said that?
Jill.
Motion is made by Jill. We do seconds on going into closed session.
Second.
Second by Angie. Can we have a roll call for closed session?
Kristen Matt Miller,
Yes.
Abby Maddock, she walked out. Jill Maddock Nelson. Dr. Bardo.
Yes.
Catherine Solon.
Yes.
Bobby Braun.
Yes.
JD Schrader.
Yes.
Danny Pyatt.
Yes. Okay, we are in closed session.